My name is Adora Svitak, Adora Svitak.
Talk about this. This is kind of a unique experience. You're 12 years old, and you are, what's ultimately a certified teacher.
Well, I think that being 12 and being a teacher is really incredible. It gives me a lot of power and it gives me a lot of freedom because as a 12-year-old, I'm able to be the world's youngest teacher, but I'm also able to present a kid's eye view to other teachers. And so this gives me a really unique perspective on learning.
How exciting is it for you to be able to go into that classroom and maybe give someone who's been 30 years in front of the classroom a new perspective of what to do in that classroom?
Well, I think that it's really a reciprocal learning experience. Because of their experience in the classroom, I'm able to learn from them and learn what they do to innovate in education. One of the activities that I did during my presentation was ask them to share what they thought the innovative classroom, what they thought made a classroom innovative. And at the same time, I'm able to share my view with them. So it's a reciprocal learning experience where everyone has something to learn, everyone has something to teach.
For those at home who may not realize, talk about your educational background. When did you graduate? What was your path like getting to this point?
Well, I actually have not yet graduated from college. I'm still taking high school courses and middle school math. I don't teach all areas, so I usually talk to students about reading and writing, those being my main points of expertise, in a motivational way so that they understand why reading and writing is important, as well as social studies. So my presentations aren't just about a topic, they're also about why they should be interested in the topic. And hearing it from a kid who's their age can be really incredibly motivating. And then when I talk to teachers, it is, of course, a kid's eye view.
So you've gotten to this point now at 12 years old. What's the next 3 years, the next 4 years, the next 5 years looking like for you?
Well, I'm hoping to continue my schoolwork and do well in school, go to college and graduate, and then I would like to continue writing and teaching full-time.
Is this something you've always wanted to do? Did you just wake up one day and say, I want to be a teacher?
No, it's been a gradual process. When I was littler, I'm still little, I guess. When I was around 5 or 6, I always wanted to be an architect, and then I was a ballerina. So, like most kids, my ideas changed a lot. And now I think that I have a more firm idea. I mean, I could always become a doctor or a lawyer, but I think that teaching and writing is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
When people think of a 12-year-old, they think of someone playing sports, going to the mall, going to the movies. They really don't kind of put two and two together of a teacher. What do you have to say to those people who might not have expected this?
Well, there really is no normal as far as 12-year-olds go. I mean, 12-year-olds here maybe go to the mall and play sports and stuff, but really everybody's different. And so my vision of being a 12-year-old was teaching and sharing kids' eye view and making a difference in the world. And I think that's just what I wanted to do, and that's how I have fun. So I would say that even though I'm different from many other 12-year-olds, I still enjoy the same things.
What is a day in the life of Adora like?
Well, I get up pretty late in the morning, around 9:30 maybe, so I have the luxury of sleeping in. I eat a breakfast of cereal or something, and I go on to do some writing, some schoolwork. I actually go to an online public school, Washington Virtual Academy, so that's how I'm able to do my traveling, where I take some advanced high school courses. And so I do my schoolwork, and I often write blog posts about education, about writing, and I write poetry. I also really enjoy watching the news, as a matter of fact. I was over here in Florida. I've been watching some of your local news, as well as I watch the national news broadcast every night. And so news is a big part of my day. And then sometimes I watch a little bit of the Jay Leno show at 10 o'clock. Although I'm so disappointed it's moving to 11:30 because my parents will not let me stay up that late. But yeah, that's a day in the life. But of course, one thing I neglected to mention was that's a day without a video conference. And every day I usually have a video conferencing session with students where I'm talking about writing, about learning, about teaching. So that is a big part of my day.
What message do you want to get out to other kids out there?
Well, I would say that learning is a really fun journey along a road that can sometimes be bumpy, but it is really a fun trip. So I would say try your best and have a fun time driving along that road that is a learning journey. And reading and writing, math and science, these are all skills. The things that you learn in school are crucial stepping stones for later life. So try your best and do well in school.
How tough is it to balance your own personal schoolwork and, let's say, this job of being a teacher?
Well, the job being a teacher, I wouldn't say it's really like a full-time job. It's more that I really share what I know when there's an opportunity available, like a conference or a video conferencing session, and then the rest of the time I'm doing schoolwork or writing or eating or sleeping or something like that. And so it's a big part of my life, but it's not the whole thing.
How much of a help is technology to you when you're doing this? I mean, obviously, if it weren't for having the internet, having these different video conferences, you probably wouldn't be able to do this.
No, definitely technology has made it possible. In fact, how I got started writing was when I was 6. My mom gave me a laptop computer, and since then I've been typing up stories continually. When I present, I use a Promethean active board and voting devices, active expressions, in order to get results from teachers, and it's one of the ways that I've learned a lot of meaningful things. And so technology, 21st century technology, has really made my story possible.
What's some of the feedback that you've been getting from those traditional teachers?
Well, I think that teachers like seeing a new, fresh perspective. After all, it is a kid's eye view, and it's one that I hope to provide to everybody, because I think that learning is really about the students' best interests. We are the target audience for these teachers, and so knowing their audience, knowing what we like, what motivates us, and what they can do to help us is a really effective way of teaching.
How nervous is it for you to get up in front of a couple hundred people and talk about this in person versus doing it through your video conferencing?
It's not too different, actually. Since video conferencing is almost like being in the same room, I would say I don't get too nervous. However, sometimes at the beginning of the session I will be like, oh, I'm about to start, and get that feeling myself. But after a few seconds, after a few minutes, I usually crack a couple of jokes and interact with the audience, and it's fine.
So talk about, I'm noticing right here you've got a couple books as well. Talk about, your publishing.
Well, Flying Fingers, Master the Tools of Learning Through the Joy of Writing is my first book. It contains 9 of my short stories, as well as tips on writing. My second book is Dancing Fingers, and I co-authored this with my older sister, Adriana, and it contains our poetry, as well as tips for writing poems and a DVD about poetry. And then finally, Young in Disguise is actually an advanced copy. This is my third book and my first full-length novel.
Talk about that. I mean, getting published at such a young age, that's impressive, from an outsider. What is it like for you?
I would say, well, I was really excited getting published. So when I was 7 and I was able to hold the first copy of Flying Fingers in my hands, I was like, is that me on the cover? And it's just been a really amazing adventure the whole way through. Although it was a little bit difficult, as everybody knows, getting a publisher, you have to send out manuscript to many different publishers, wait for responses, and usually get rejected. And so it was definitely a learning process.
How do you deal with that? Obviously, when you're dealing with publishing companies, there's going to be a lot of rejections before you get that acceptance. At your age, how did you deal with getting that rejection?
Well, I knew I would figure that for the first few ones I would get rejected, and I never really take any failures too hard, because I know that there's always another way to try again, and that nothing's ever really final.
You've accomplished so many things that people probably have set goals for in their life of accomplishing maybe in their 40s or 50s. Looking ahead, what else can you accomplish? What's in that mind right now that you want to do in the next 10 years, 15 years?
Well, actually, my family's a joke. When my mom asked my sister what she wanted to do, then she was like, retire. And although that's not my dream, I do hope to do a lot more in my life before I do retire. I want to travel more. I want to go around to every single country, or every single continent at least, learn more about different cultures. I hope to create more writing, or write more and create more books, and hopefully win a Nobel Peace Prize or in literature, and do good works, and be a philanthropist, hopefully make enough money to be a philanthropist. So I have quite a few different, very lofty dreams, but I hope to reach those.
Well, when you say that, you've got a lot of dreams and expectations for yourself. Does it make it a little bit more nervous, or make it a little easier knowing that you've gotten to the point where you are now by the age 12?
I would say so, because I look at my life as a series of stepping stones, right? And the fact that I've gotten to this point is good. However, I think that I still need to go further. And so as people, I think we need to push ourselves over the course of our lifetime, because life isn't just where you come to the end of a cliff and you say, I'm done. It's where you're continually climbing up the mountain.
I know Mom's sitting right here. It's going to hurt to answer the question honestly, but Do you get any extra pressure from mom and dad, or is there a lot of support? I mean, it's got to be tough to move to where you are right now.
Oh yeah, a lot of people ask me that question actually, and no, it's fine, it's just there. No, I don't get really any extra pressure from my parents. Actually, sometimes I wish they would pressure me a little more. No, they've always been really supportive. Definitely, the reason I started reading some books because they were really big fans of reading. They would read to me. My dad would read to my sister and I when we were about to go to bed. He would read to us from storybooks, and sometimes he would even read from books that he thought were interesting, like stuff about philosophy. Which was okay. So from a very young age, we really had a love of words, and I think that the support that my parents have given me has been really crucial in allowing me to get this far.
Anything else you want to know?
I would just want to say that in order to learn more, you can visit my website, www.adorasvitalk.com, ADORASVITAK.com, and just to plug my books, I have Dancing Fingers, Flying Fingers, and Young in the Skies are my books. Thank you.
Okay, well, hold on.